Yeah.
No paparazzi.
What's up, Isaac Knox?
What's good?
We are good. We're here in Boston. Let us know, what are we doing here today?
Now we're out here in Boston performing for DECA. So it's a whole conference full of like high schoolers that do business electives, basically just go-getters, people that are going to be our bosses, and we're going to go perform for them.
So,
yeah.
When did you first get involved in freestyle, and how did that inspire you to make a career out of it?
Yeah, I first encountered it in middle school. There was a youth rally where this rapper named Genesis showed up and was freestyling after the show, and he was asking me to throw words at him, and it blew my mind. Then that got me into battle rap in high school, and when I entered the local scene, I met this guy, Madd Illz, who tore me in half in a cypher, and made me realize not only are there levels to this, but there's dozens of levels to this. But dove in, loved it. It was a mix of everything I loved: hip hop, competition, being in the moment, poetry, improv, all of that. And it was sort of my way to get on the road when nobody knew who I was. Being able to freestyle for crowds of strangers created a connection. You could do it anywhere. You could do it on the street. You could do it in a battle. You could do it in a show. And that was just my way to sort of start getting out into the world as a rapper. And then I loved it so much that I was like, can this be the career? And got insanely lucky that it is.
What is one of the most standout trips that you've had, with free Daps? Like what's a trip where you're like, man, this is something that I really enjoyed, couldn't have done it without this situation?
We've gone further north in Canada into Alaska, but also been out to like Japan and Sicily, to just be exploring some of these towns off of freestyling is the who would have thought hip hop would take us this far kind of situation. So that stuff blows my mind. To be on an aircraft carrier in the middle of the Red Sea, because I was obsessed with watching like Fight Club battles, in high school, is crazy. WRCs, yeah.
I know you're doing a lot of stand-up in New York. You're living in New York.
Yeah.
That wasn't always something that I knew you had in you, and then I found out you moved to New York. I was like, what? What? He's doing stand-up now? What? Because it's almost like you have success with the freestyle and the free Daps and the traveling and stuff, but then when you switch into the stand-up comedy, you're almost back at the bottom, grinding out open mics and stuff. What?
Oh yeah, bro.
Why? What are you doing? What are you doing with your life, man?
Yeah, the whole restart and the pivot. For a couple reasons, and there's it's never smart to start the stand-up grind. I don't care if you're 18 or 40. It's the industry that takes the longest to make anything for it. You do the most free work in that industry for anything. But for me, it was a couple things. Number one was it was a way to work some new muscles, and even when I do a freestyle show, I'm more natural in between, and I have new instincts and new angles I take on stuff because of the stand-up muscles. But also, man, I'm obsessed with trying to find ways to take free Daps and freestyle rap into new spaces, and I'm a firm believer, especially as a guest in the culture, that if I'm gonna be welcomed into hip hop, I need to really contribute, not just get stuff from it. And one of the things that makes me happy is when we go into new places where freestyle rap had never been an NBA halftime show before, right? Or doing the aircraft carriers, or doing theme parks and stuff like that, right? Putting it in new places in legitimate ways where it's we're doing a really good version of the art form in really new places. And I've realized that as we try to take it further and further and further, that you need, I'm trying not to use industry jargon, but you need credits, right? You need to be as seen on these different places. So when stand-up comedy became an additional passion of mine, I was like, this might be a way to get through some doors where we're doing more stuff on late night shows, where we're doing other festivals that aren't just hip hop festivals, but big comedy festivals or television things, streaming. You know, one of my dreams for the next 5 years is I want Free Daps to be shooting like long form specials, like hour-long specials where we tour on the road in these beautiful spaces, and whether it's underground hip-hop vibe or theater vibe or comedy club vibe, but where these things can be shot, cut together, and then released as like seasons of specials. Like season 1 of a Free Daps tour is like 8 cities, and you're seeing this incredible like comedy hip-hop special. And one of the ways to that is through some of the more conventional comedy spaces. So because I love doing stand-up independently and as an individual, but also if I succeed in that, I'm gonna be in places where it's like, oh, if you think that my stand-up is decent, you gotta see this incredible crew that I roll with. We do something that you either haven't seen, or if you have seen it, you haven't seen it this good and this tight and this punchy. And so it's sort of a two-hander thing. A little bit for me, scratch my own itch, and then a little bit for like, if I hit a home run, everybody eats.
What is your plan for living in New York? Is there like a Isaac that says, well, maybe let me go try this in LA. Maybe let me go back to Orlando. Are you like, nah, dog, I'm not going back to Orlando. Like I like living here. Like, what is it?
No, it's the opposite, man. Like I obviously right now I feel like, you know, New York has something for me, but I always want to have something for Orlando. And that's like when I dream about what the success is, it's always about bringing it back to Orlando, things that I can do there. If I daydream shooting my own late night show or something, which again, like we're talking crazy shoot for the stars dreams, but like I would want it to be in Orlando. I think about opening up a comedy club or a music space or something in Orlando. I think about all these different things, and the amount of talent that's there. And the thing is, there's been this history of so much talent in Orlando that has often left to try and find something bigger, and not enough have invested it back in the city to make it a place you don't have to leave to hit your biggest goals.
Gotcha.
And I want to invest in Orlando being a place where the talent that's homegrown can stay home and still reach their dreams. So yeah, I always wanted to come back to Orlando. Of course, I would do a season in LA. I would do wherever the work took me. I would absolutely go, whatever's good for me and the team. But like ultimately, my winnings are gonna flow to Orlando first. Hey, this is Isaac Knox. You can follow me at I'm Isaac Knox on Instagram or TikTok if it's not shut down by the time you see this. And I appreciate y'all. Free Daps.
Thank you.
Good. We're pretty down for part of the opening section. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Where do you want to come from? Backstage, or how do you want to?
Sure. Yeah.
From the rafters.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we can't rappel down, then we'll pick from the back. Yeah.
Fair enough. Here's what we usually say. Your green room is back that way. There's a scientist room.
Okay.
You can walk around and there's a.
What up, Dracula? Yeah, we're at the Boston Conference and Event Center. We just performed for DECA Massachusetts.
That's a pretty big audience in there. How did you feel about that?
Bro, the energy was incredible. It feeds what we do. The kids were all into it. It's exciting, man. It brings the best out of us.
What was your favorite part about tonight's show?
Bro, they went nuts for the hold 'em up, which was great because they were catching bars. Sometimes you don't know if a crowd's gonna really get the nuances, and they were with it.
Man, last night was a really awesome show here in Boston. We did the convention center. I don't know, man. The numbers had to have been in the thousands because there was a lot of people there. That was a lot. That was a big one. It was for DECA. Those are pretty much all of the future CEOs and leaders of tomorrow were in attendance. And it was great, man. I don't really get to see Isaac too much because he lives in New York. So it was good teaming up with him every time we get together on a show. It becomes a very technical show. So it was pretty fun, man. Yeah, we're here in Boston right now. This is like South Boston, Seaport area. It's not really that great of a view. I mean, in all honesty, I mean, it's dope, but like, this is all like dirty industrial buildings and stuff. So the view isn't really anything to write home about, but yep, on to the next.